News at 5 in association with Accoland Amusement Park, Annapurna Foods, Juniorholics, and Biz Farm Biscuits. Chief Minister Nephew Rio-led core committee on Naga issue meets NSCNIM leadership. NSCNIM General Secretary Twingaling Muiva skips meeting. Key development ahead of NSCNIM's emergency National Assembly. Shadow of terror in Arunachal Pradesh's TCL region. Suspected NSCN KYA militants abduct another Gaubura in Longding district. India and Bangladesh vow to fight radical elements together. Bangladesh Foreign Minister assures full support to India in fight against jihadi. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma acknowledges role of Bangladesh government. Third edition of two-day-long Nadi River Conference kicks off in Guwahati. Assam Chief Minister, External Foreign Minister attend conclave. Focus on increased cooperation among ASEAN nations to harness shared resources. Two kids abducted from Guwahati rescued in Bihar. One detained in connection with case. Further probe into matter underway. And DGCA fines Indigo Airlines for denying boarding to specially abled child. DGCA terms Indigo ground staff's handling of child as deficient and lacking in sensitivity. Hello and welcome to the News at 5. I'm Ronak and we start the bulletin with the big story this evening. All eyes are set on the crucial meeting between the core committee on the Naga issue led by Chief Minister Nephew Rio and the NSCNIM leadership at the Chumukedima police complex. Highly placed sources informed Northeast Live that the NSCNIM delegation will be led by V.S. Atim. However, the NSCNIM General Secretary T.H. Muiva is not present at the meeting. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Nephew Rio is being accompanied by UDA Chairman T.R. Zeliang, Azo Nenu, Neba Kronu, G. Kaito Ai, and a few other core committee members. Although leaders are being tight-lipped over the development, the meeting assumes significance since it comes just ahead of the NSCNIM Emergency National Assembly, which is slated to take place on the 31st of May at Camp Hebron. All right, on to another big story now. The situation in Arunachal Pradesh's TCL region is only getting grimmer, with instances of insurgency-related activities like abductions getting more frequent by the day. Well, in yet another such incident, insurgents kidnapped the Gaubura, or village head of Chatong village in eastern Arunachal's Longding district on Friday. As per police sources, Gaubura Tingfo Luklam was kidnapped by a heavily armed group of NSCN KYA insurgents from Longko village under Longding police station. Police said that the Gaubura was abducted after he had gone to Longko from his native village of Chatong, along with Ngamwang Wangkam, who is the chief of the village, after the duo was summoned by the NSCN KYA on the pretext of holding some discussions. After the said discussions, the village chief was allowed to go. However, the Gaubura was abducted and has reportedly been taken to a hideout of the outfit in Myanmar through Mon district of Nagaland. On the other hand, the chief was allowed to go with a stern warning from the militants to clear the so-called house and indent taxes at the earliest, or the Gaubura will be eliminated. Security forces have launched a search operation but have found little success so far. It may be mentioned here that this is the 11th case of abduction by militants in the TCL belt in the last 2 months. Earlier, a Gram Panchayat chairman or GPC was also abducted on the 20th of May from Tirap district and was subsequently released on the 25th of May with a warning to clear all pending dues at the earliest or be killed. In most of these cases, a ransom has been the main reason behind the abductions. Although security forces are trying hard to curb insurgent-related activities in the region by launching a series of counter-insurgency operations, militant groups too have stepped up their activities. So viewers, another big development coming in, and this time it's from the frontier state of Arunachal Pradesh. Well, the situation in the state's TCL region is only getting grimmer, with instances of insurgency-related activities like abductions getting more frequent by the day. In yet another such incident, insurgents kidnapped the Gaubura or village head of Chatong village in eastern Arunachal's Longding district on Friday. As per police sources, Gaubura Tingfo Luklam was kidnapped by a heavily armed group of NSCN KYA insurgents from Longkho village under Longding police station. Police said that the Gaubura was abducted after he had gone to Longkho from his native village of Chatong along with Ngamwang Wangkam, who is the chief of the village, after the duo was summoned by the NSCN KYA on the pretext of holding some discussions. And after these said discussions, the village chief was allowed to go, but the Gaubura was abducted and has reportedly been taken to a hideout of the outfit in Myanmar through Mon district of Nagaland. And on the other hand, the chief who was allowed to go has been let go with a stern warning from the militants to clear the so-called house and indent taxes at the earliest, or the Gaubura will be eliminated. Security forces have launched a search operation but have found little success so far. It might be mentioned that this is the 11th case of abduction in the TCL belt in the last 2 months. Earlier, a Gram Panchayat chairman or GPC was also abducted on the 20th of May from Tirap district and was subsequently released on the 25th of May with a warning to clear all pending dues at the earliest or be killed. In most of these cases, ransom has been the main reason behind the abductions. Although security forces are trying hard to curb insurgent-related activities in the region by launching a series of counter-insurgency operations, militant groups too have stepped up their activities. All right, and to bring us all the latest updates on this big development, I'm being joined now over the phone line by my colleague Ripunjoy Das. Well, Ripunjoy, it seems that the situation along the TCL region in Arunachal Pradesh is showing no signs of improving anytime soon, isn't it? Another Gaubura being kidnapped, and it was barely, 3 days before that the GPC of New Kuntung village was released, and now another Gaubura has once again been abducted by suspected insurgents. What more would you like to add at this point in time, Ripunjoy?
Yes, Ronak, you are very much right on target, because this has become a trend. You see that initially they had been coming from their bases in Myanmar and operating in this TCL belt. But now the situation has become otherwise, because successive and relentless operations are being carried out by the security forces, particularly the Assam Rifles units which are stationed in this region. But this technique of calling up people and then in the pretext of holding some discussion or the other is a new new trend, and through this trend only they are abducting people, then taking them to their bases in Myanmar, and then calling up their family members, and then asking for ransom. So this has become a major issue, and in fact the talk of the town, you can say, in this TCL belt. Ronak, second thing is that the government of Arunachal Pradesh, it seems, will have to initiate some severe action on this, particularly the police, which is totally, it seems, is totally handicapped in this region. They are not being able to operate in the proper area. One after another, abductions are taking place. No action on the people here who are behind this abduction. So this has, in other words, you can say, encourage these UGs to go for one after another. Right. So this has definitely, Ronald, you are right, it has become a major issue for Arunachal Pradesh.
Absolutely, absolutely. Ripunjoy Das, thank you very much for joining us this evening and bringing us all of those latest updates. On to another big story now. The third edition of the Nadi Talk, an international river conference to articulate a collective vision of cooperation in the Bay of Bengal and the Southeast Asian region, is being held here in Guwahati. The third edition of the conclave, termed Nadi, or Natural Allies in Development and Interdependence, is hosted by Shillong-based think tank Asian Confluence in partnership with the Union External Affairs Ministry, the Assam government's Act East Policy of the Affairs Department, the North Eastern Council, and other partners. The two-day event was inaugurated by Union External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, with dignitaries including the Bangladesh Foreign Minister A.K. Abdul Momen, Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma, and High Commissioners and Ambassadors from the various countries. Speaking at the event, Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar said that the Nadi is a proper platform for countries to initiate dialogue and head for bigger cooperation, amongst others. Listen in.
Dear friends, it is a great pleasure to be back in Guwahati for the Nadi conference. And I must congratulate the organizers, Asian Confluence, who, in partnership with the Government of Assam and the Policy Planning Division of the Ministry of External Affairs, have put together what promises to be a very focused and stimulating gathering. Conversations help to create change, and thoughts about confluences certainly encourage plans and cooperation. So there is a lot before all of you to ponder. Now, as many of the speakers have said before me, Nadi is life, and it is but natural that human civilizations all developed on the banks of rivers. And from those habitations arose commerce, which reflected the exchanges of goods and services between them. For that to happen, distances needed to be traversed as smoothly and securely as possible, and therein lay the importance of connectivity to history. It was the pathways that facilitated mobility and migration which determines its course. Who used them, who dominated them, who leveraged them, who blocked them. These have been the ups and downs of societies and nations over time. Nadi itself was often the connectivity. And today, as we gather alongside one of the great rivers that courses our land, how to connect peoples more effectively is an appropriate subject to discuss. The extent of success in doing so will determine our prosperity, and we carry forward our deliberations bearing in mind.
And speaking at the conclave, Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma talked of the natural resources of the state, including the vast forest cover. Chief Minister Sharma said that the various resources which Assam has to offer can help contribute to the country's material strength.
Another important contributor to the economy of the state is forest. There are a large variety of forest types, from the evergreen rainforest to riparian forest and freshwater mangroves. The state has 312 notified reserve forests, 5 national parks, and 20 wildlife sanctuaries. The forest cover, including trees outside the forest, in Assam is more than 37% of the total geographical area of the state. Assam, that falls in the eastern Himalayan biodiversity region, is one of the biodiversity hotspots in the country. We have 293 orchid species, which is 1/4 of the country's orchid diversity, 42 species of bamboos, 14 species of can, beside multitude of aquatic and forest flora. There are 165 species of endemic flora of Assam, and 284 species of plants are critically endangered. Assam's biggest contribution to the world is tea. Assam produces some of the finest and most expensive teas in the world. The petroleum industry in India started at Digbo in Assam, and we have 4 refineries and significant petroleum as well as natural gas reserves. Assam today is home to a well-established petrochemicals industry. The industry today could be used to produce green plastic that are in huge demand in developed markets. The Singaporean ambassador has already shown interest in exploring the possibility of a technological collaboration to examine the possibility of collaboration in this regard.
The event's country partner is the Bangladesh Foundation for Regional Studies, and knowledge partners include the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IIT Guwahati, and Guwahati University. As Northeast India and Assam remain at the center of activity, on May 29th, that is tomorrow, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will deliver the valedictory address. The conference will concentrate on the region south of the Himalayas, from the Ganga to the Brahmaputra, as a confluence of river basins with common challenges that necessitate close cooperation across political boundaries. Many leaders and experts are expected to reside on Guwahati for the conclave. And meanwhile, talking on the sidelines of the conclave, Bangladesh Foreign Minister A.K. Abdul Momen talked about the apprehensions over China building a dam over the Brahmaputra in Tibet. Talking on the matter, Momen said that while making such dams, the interests of the residents of the river basins and the catchment areas must be kept in mind.
The river conclave, the lifeline of Bangladesh, which is Brahmaputra here, Siang in Arunachal Pradesh, flows from China, and China is building the biggest dam on this river. So, how concerned?
So we have been arguing that in developing these dams and other things, the resident of the catchment should be involved in it, and the interest of all the residents of that particular river basin uh, should be upheld. This is upheld because this is most important. In my speech also I said that we have to work together in cooperation and partnership, because rivers have no boundaries, they have no faith, they have no religion, they flow all across. And in Bengal, we name the rivers with beautiful names. You see, because they are alive. Rivers are alive. So here we must not mess up with it. With big projects, when you do those, we have to be very careful about the environmental impact. We have to be careful about the life of the people around, because rivers is all.
On to another big story now. India and Bangladesh will jointly tackle terror elements, particularly those which are operating from the soil of the neighboring nation. The Bangladesh government has assured that it will help India in busting the jihadi network. Attending the third edition of the Nadi conclave in Guwahati, Bangladesh Foreign Minister A.K. Abdul Momen emphasized that every nation must work together to take care of those trying to inflict harm to the society. The Bangladesh Foreign Minister also welcomed the Assam government's crackdown that has led to the arrest of many persons having links with jihadi groups.
It was banned in Bangladesh. So has there been any discussion?
There are some people in Assam.
There have been arrests made, which are
16 persons has been arrested, including a Bangladesh national also. There's a
Ansarul
Bangladesh. They have a link with the Al Qaeda. Al Qaeda Indian.
There are many pockets always there, and that's a good news that you have arrested them, and this is a good news, because always you find some discontented individuals want to inflict harm, and we should take care of them, and we should work together to identify them and put them under questioning.
According to intelligence reports, many of them have fled and taken shelter in Bangladesh. Will Bangladesh government help?
No, we don't know. We always work with Indian government. Yes, one big guy, we gave it to India. We handed over to India. You see. So that's not a big deal. We will be working with India.
Meanwhile, Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma, while speaking at the River Conclave in Guwahati, thanked the Bangladesh government for assisting in cracking the whip against jihadi elements. Chief Minister Sharma also expressed gratitude to Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina, for helping India in its fight against terror. Sharma added that it would not have been possible for the Assam police to nab persons with jihadi links, which he believes is a turning point in the history of the state.
We are immensely grateful to the government of Bangladesh and our beloved Prime Minister of Bangladesh for this protocol. We'd also like to record our deep gratitude to the people of Bangladesh because without their help, we would not have able to fight the militants in Assam. And I think that was the turning point in our history.
All right, it's time for a very short break here, viewers, but don't go anywhere. Lots more coming up on the other side. Stay tuned. Northeast Live, the most viewed news channel in the region. On YouTube, unmatched coverage.
Oh, বাহ!
বাহ! অপূর্ব ভ্যারাইটি, অপূর্ব মূল্য। ডাউনলোড মিশো।
Evening Prime, the primetime news at 7. Now, in a whole new look. Only on Northeast Live. Your station, your voice. Northeast Live, the most viewed news channel in the region. On YouTube, unmatched coverage.
Introducing the new Suzuki Avenus, the sportiest, zippiest ride in town that's loaded with next generation GPS navigation.
নতুন মিউজিক ডাইরেক্টৰ ৰোহানে এতিয়ালৈকে মিউজিক পঠোৱা নাই।
I've got it. The new Suzuki Avenus. More zip for trip.
कांग्रेस सरकार कुछ नहीं कर पाया।
All the best.
We, the people of the Northeast, can also contest it.
पूर्वोत्तर में क्या रही आग की सुर्खियां? चुनावी राज्यों की राजनीतिक हलचल। देश विदेश की वो खबरें जिससे है अपनों का खास नाता।
जनता जनार्दन के आशीर्वाद से डबल इंजन की सरकार।
जानने के लिए देखिए समाचार नॉर्थ ईस्ट हर शाम 6 बजे।
Northeast Live, the most viewed news channel in the region. On YouTube, unmatched coverage. Evening Prime, the primetime news at 7. Now, in a whole new look. Only on Northeast Live. Your station, your voice.
कांग्रेस सरकार कुछ नहीं कर पाया।
All the best.
We, the people of the Northeast, can also contest it.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching the news at 5. And before we continue, let's have another look at the headlines. Chief Minister Nephew Rio-led core committee on Naga issue meets NSC and IM leadership. NSC and IM General Secretary T.H. Muiva skips meeting. Key development ahead of NSC and IM's emergency National Assembly. Shadow of terror in Arunachal Pradesh's TCL region. Suspected NSC and KYA militants abduct another Gaubura in Longding district. India and Bangladesh vow to fight radical elements together. Bangladesh Foreign Minister assures full support to India in fight against jihadi. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma acknowledges role of Bangladesh government. Third edition of two-day-long Nadi River Conference kicks off in Guwahati. Assam Chief Minister, External Foreign Minister attend conclave. Focus on increased cooperation amongst ASEAN nations to harness shared resources. Two kids abducted from Guwahati rescued in Bihar. One detained in connection with case. Further probe into matter underway. And the DGCA fines Indigo Airlines for denying boarding to specially abled child. DGCA terms Indigo ground staff's handling of child as deficient and lacking sensitivity. Welcome back, viewers, and on to the big story from Mizoram. Well, a solo protest by an environmental activist in Mizoram is hogging the limelight. Vanram Chwangi, popularly known as Ruatfela Nu, was on a sit-in protest at Aizawl demanding a halt to environmental degradation caused by the highway expansion and widening project undertaken by the National Highway Infrastructure Development Corporation Limited. Ruatfela Nu's main charge is that the huge quantity of soil excavated during the highway widening and construction process are dumped on these slopes and are finding their way into a few of the key rivers that are now choking the flow. These rivers, she says, are a source of sustenance for the people of Mizoram. Hence, here she highlighted that the developmental projects at the mouth of the Tlawang River has had terrible effects. And what you see on your screens, viewers, are the visuals of the construction site on one side and affected river on the other side, where the water flow has been reportedly choked. Sources said that the activist has filed RTI petitions to ascertain whether due environmental clearances were obtained before going ahead with the work by the NHIDC. In most of these cases, the RTI replies allegedly revealed that there were no clear permissions obtained. On Friday, Ruatfela sat alone protesting in front of the Mizoram Environment, Forest and Climate Change Department office in Aizawl with placards. She handed over a memorandum to the Principal Chief Conservator of Forests demanding a halt in construction activities in as many as 4 national highways within Mizoram. And these are NH06 Seling to Zokothor, NH102B Kefang to Manipur, NH302 Lunglei to Tlabung, NH54 Aizawl to Tuipang. Ruatfela, in her memorandum to the PCCF, accused the NHIDC of not adhering to the Environment Management Plan and said that unmonitored construction work has hit the state, including villages like Tuipui D and others. The activist, who has also drawn the attention of Mizoram Chief Minister Zoramthanga, said that NHIDC has not even replied to notices served by the Mizoram Pollution Control Board in 2021. All right, moving on now. The Directorate General of Civil Aviation, or the DGCA, today imposed a penalty of rupees 5 lakh on Indigo Airlines. The penalty has been imposed based on the airline denying boarding to a specially abled child at Ranchi Airport on the 7th of May. Meanwhile, the DGCA in a statement said that a probe into the incident found that the handling of the specially abled child by the Indigo ground staff was deficient and ended up exacerbating the situation. The statement further mentioned that more compassionate handling of the situation would have smoothened the nerves and calmed the child. In view of this, the competent authority in the DGCA decided to impose a penalty of rupees 5 lakh on the airline under the provisions of the relevant aircraft rules. Moving on now, a day after the Narcotics Control Bureau gave a clean chit to Bollywood actor Shah Rukh Khan's son Aryan Khan, Maharashtra Home Minister Dilip Walse Patil today demanded action against former NCB officer Sameer Wankhede. According to the Maharashtra Home Minister, if anyone is falsely implicating an innocent person, then action should be taken against them. On Friday, the central government decided that the competent authority to take appropriate action against Sameer Wankhede for conducting shoddy investigation into the cruise drug bust case involving Aryan Khan. The centre's action came soon after the NCB gave a clean chit to Aryan Khan and 5 others and has not filed any charge sheet against them, citing lack of evidence. The government has already taken action in the case of Sameer Wankhede's fake caste certificate case. The NCB on Friday filed a 6,000-page charge sheet against 14 accused in the cruise drug bust case, which excludes the name of 5 others, including Bollywood star Shah Rukh Khan's son Aryan Khan, who was earlier arrested in the same case. Meanwhile, Wankhede refused to comment on the latest development in the case, saying that he is not a part of this drug law enforcement agency anymore and will only give a written reply if asked about the matter. It needs to be mentioned here, last year in October, an NCB team busted an alleged drug party on the Cordelia cruise ship, which was on its way to Goa at mid-sea. 8 persons were arrested, 20 people, including Aryan Khan, along with other accused Arbaz Merchant and Munmun Dhamecha, were also arrested in the case.
न्यायालयाचा निर्णय आता आलेला आहे आणि त्याच्यामध्ये आर्यन खान यांच्यावर जे आरोप केले गेले होते त्याच्यामध्ये काही तथ्य आढळलं नाही आणि त्यामुळं चार्जशीटमध्ये त्यांचं नाव वगळलं गेलेलं आहे. मला असं वाटतं की केंद्राने सुद्धा याची दखल घेतलेली आहे आणि संबंधितांच्या विरुद्ध कारवाईची सूचना दिलेली आहे. मला असं वाटतं अशा चुकीच्या पद्धतीने एखाद्या निष्पाप व्यक्तीला अडकवण्याचा प्रयत्न जर कोणी केला तर त्याला शिक्षा झाली पाहिजे. ही भूमिका आमची सुद्धा राहील.
On to another big story now. Amidst the ongoing crisis situation in Sri Lanka and India's relentless bid to stand by the neighboring country, Sri Lankan Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe thanked India for its support during the crisis. In a series of tweets, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe thanked India over the move to set up a foreign aid consortium in league with Japan. Sri Lankan Prime Minister Wickremesinghe, who recently took charge, also said that he spoke to Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman and expressed the country's appreciation. Notably, the Sri Lankan Prime Minister's appreciation of India came on the same day when India donated 25 tons of drugs and other medical supplies valued at close to $260 million, 260 million Sri Lankan rupees, I beg your pardon. Sri Lanka is facing the worst ever economic crisis since its independence, with massive shortage of food supplies and fuel. The Sri Lankan Prime Minister tweeted, and I quote, "I am grateful for the positive response from India and Japan on the proposal made for the Quad members to take the lead in setting up a foreign aid," unquote. Foreign aid consortium to assist Sri Lanka, unquote. In another tweet, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe said, and I quote, "I had a conversation with India's Minister of Finance and Nirmala Sitharaman today. I express our country's appreciation for the support India has extended during this difficult period. I look forward to further strengthening ties between our nations," unquote. It may be mentioned here that on the sidelines of the Quad Summit, which recently concluded in Tokyo, India and Japan agreed to work together on assisting crisis-hit Sri Lanka after the meeting between Prime Minister Modi and Japan Prime Minister Fumio Kishida. Earlier yesterday, India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman met Sri Lankan High Commissioner to India Milinda Muragoda to discuss the possibility of increasing aid for the country. Sitharaman and the Sri Lankan High Commissioner explored the possibility of increasing and restructuring the assistance provided by India in the form of credits for essential commodities and fuel, as well as balance of payment support. Shifting focus now, in a major sigh of relief, two kids who had been abducted from Guwahati have finally been rescued. As per latest inputs, the children have been found at Krishnaganj in Bihar. Both were abducted by a person who pretended to be their maternal uncle. The police, meanwhile, have detained one person in connection with the case. A team of Hattigaon police is en route to Krishnaganj to bring back the two children.
OC ছাৰে বহুতখিনি হেল্প কৰিলে, ৰাতি তেখেতে বহুতখিনি কষ্ট কৰিলে। কিষাণগঞ্জত ছাৰে কণ্টেক্ট কৰাৰ পিছত কিষাণগঞ্জত কিবা কৰি ইনফৰমেশ্যন কৰি কেনে পালে, মোৰ ল'ৰাটোকো পালে, মোৰ ছোৱালীটোকো পালে। আৰু যোনটো ল'ৰা লৈ যাই আছিলে এই শ্বাহৰুখ খান বুলি কেনে তাহাঁতৰে কোনোবা হয়। পাৰ সেই ল'ৰাজনে কৈছে বোলে মই মামা হয়, পাৰ আচলত তাৰ মামা এইটো নহয়। মোৰ বাচ্চাকেইটাক মিছা কথা কৈ কেনে মানে সেই ল'ৰাটো প্লানিং বনাই কেনে মোৰ ছোৱালীটোক মামা বুলি কেনে কৈ কেনে লৈ গৈছে। মানে মোৰ সেই আগৰ মোৰ যোনটো ৱাইফৰ যোনটো বিয়া ল'ৰাটোক যোনটো লৈ গৈছিলে সেই শ্বাহৰুখ খান, সেই শ্বাহৰুখ খানে কাৰোবাক পঠাইছিলে। তাহাঁতে অহা নাই, কিহৰ কাৰণে তাহাঁতে দুটা নামত অলৰেডি কেছ দিয়া আছে ইয়াতে। বেলেগত থ্ৰু দি ইয়াতে পঠাইছে, মোৰ ছোৱালীৰ লগত কণ্টেক্ট কৰিছে। কণ্টেক্ট কৰি কেনে কিবা কৰি ইনষ্টাগ্ৰামত কৈছে যে তোমালোকে তাৰ লগত গুচি আহা। তাৰপিছত সিহঁতে ইয়াৰ পৰা ট্ৰেইনত গৈছে, কিষাণগঞ্জত ছাৰে কালি ৰিকভাৰী কৰিলে। নহয়, ইয়াৰ পৰাতো 7টা বজাত ওলাই গৈছে বিহাৰ। ৰাতিপুৱা মৰ্ণিঙত, আৰ্লি মৰ্ণিঙত ওলাই গৈছে আমাৰ পুলিচ ইয়াৰ পৰা। ছাৰে পঠাই দিছে ৰিকভাৰী কৰিবৰ কাৰণে।
And moving on to another big story now, the Inter-Ministerial Central Team has arrived in Haflong, where it is inspecting the damages caused in Dima Hasao district in the recent floods. During the visit, the team will review losses incurred in the Hill district in the last few days. The team will also hold a review meeting at the Dima Hasao Deputy Commissioner's office and also make a visit to the relief camps to ascertain the conditions of the flood-affected people. Meanwhile, our colleague Swadeep Hasamsa has a ground report about the entire matter. Take a look.
डिमा हासाओ में 11 तारीख से लगातार बारिश देने के बाद 18 तारीख तक बारिश रुक गया है, लेकिन बहुत सारा जगह में रास्ते के साथ साथ रेलवे कम्युनिकेशन जो है वो भी डिस्टर्ब हो गया है और रिस्टोरेशन काम अभी चल रहा है। तो इसके ऊपर में हम ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा जानकारी देने के लिए इस वक्त हमारे साथ मौजूद है लमडिंग जो हिल सेक्शन का जो है DRM। उन्हें जानते हैं कि अभी करंट स्टेटस कैसा है और उनका डैमेजेस लॉसेस कितना नुकसान हुआ है। ये अभी तक भी हम लोग सब कहते हैं कि रेलवे कम्युनिकेशन डिस्टर्ब हो गया है, लेकिन पर्टिकुलरली लोकेशन हमको असेसमेंट नहीं कर पा रहा है क्योंकि कम्युनिकेशन का काफ़ी डिस्टर्ब हो गया था। तो अभी करंट सिचुएशन कैसा है और कहाँ तक आपका डैमेजेस हुआ है?
रेलवे लाइन बेसिकली हमारा 80 किलोमीटर का ट्रैक लेंथ जो है माईबोंग से लेकर के अपना टचरा तक 80 किलोमीटर लाइन में 60 लोकेशन की जगह पे टूटा था। जो असेसमेंट की बात है, हमने 2 दिन में असेसमेंट कर ली थी। एक्शन प्लान भी तय कर लिया था कि हम इसको टारगेट को कब करें। 60 लोकेशन में हमारी कुछ 11 लोकेशन ऐसी हैं जो कि सिवियरली डैमेज है, उनको हम क्रिटिकल लोकेशन कह सकते हैं, और 30 लोकेशन ऐसी जो भारी डैमेज हुआ है। उसमें 11 लोकेशन ऐसी थी जो कम डैमेज वाली थी, वो हमने रिस्टोर भी कर ली है। यदि फर्दर रेंज नहीं हुई तो 10 जुलाई तक हम सब लाइन्स को रिस्टोर कर लेंगे और कम्युनिकेशन को बाहर कर लेंगे।
तो हम कहते हैं कि जो मेजर डैमेजेस हुआ है, मेजर जो सिंकिंग हुआ है, कौन सा लोकेशन अगर नाम बताओ?
सबसे मेजर जो हुआ वो दत्तावाजा फाइटिंग में हुआ है। उसमें बेसिकली 4-5 लोकेशन ऐसी है जिनमें भी ट्रैक का करीब 250 मीटर 300 मीटर लेंथ जो नीचे ही चला गया है, और उसकी जो हाइट है वो 80-80 मीटर, 70 मीटर, 80 मीटर भी है। दमचरा डेटकचरा के बीच में हमारे 2 ब्रिज जिनके जो अप्रोचेस थे वो वॉश आउट हो गए हैं, और जो माईबोंग और दत्तवाजा के बीच में 3 लोकेशन ऐसी है जिनमें करीब 300 350 ट्रैक लेंथ जो है वो सारी निकल गई है।
ये हम सबको पता है कि असम का एकमात्र हिल स्टेशन है जो न्यू हाफलोंग रेलवे स्टेशन, जो एक 2 पहाड़ों के बीच में से जाते हैं और बहुत सुंदर स्टेशन है पूरे डिमा हासाओ डिस्ट्रिक्ट में। हम कह सकते हैं असम में ही शायद ऐसा बहुत कम ही स्टेशन होगा न्यू हाफलोंग जैसा स्टेशन बना है। उसको अभी वहाँ पे बहुत सारा पैसेंजर्स जो स्टैंडर्ड ट्रेन था वो भी मलबे में दब गया है, और साथ ही साथ में काफी सारे इंजन हुए वो भी अभी विफल हो गए। उसके लिए आप लोग कैसे करने के?
2 इंजन तो पूरी तरह डैमेज हो चुके हैं और 2 और दबे हुए हैं। 4 इंजन थे, 2 में कुछ कम डैमेजेस हैं, और कोचेस जो है वो उल्टे पड़ गए हैं। वो सीधे हो जाएंगे उसमें, लेकिन 2-3 कोचेस हैं डैमेज होने का खतरा है। और बेसिकली यार्ड जितना है पूरा पानी से भर गया, तो जितने सिग्नल गियर तो हमारे सारे खराब हो गए हैं। तो सिग्नल गियर हमें चेंज करना पड़ेंगे। वो तैयारी पूरी है हमारी, हमने सारा मटेरियल हमारा इकट्ठा कर लिया है। जैसे ही मलबा उड़ जाएगा उसके बाद हम सिग्नल गियर चेंज करेंगे, और 15 जून तक हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि इसमें ट्रेन चलाने की, बदरपुर से हम हाफलोंग पहुंच जाएं।
सेंट्रल टीम भी आया था यहाँ का जो सारा जो इन डिजास्टर को जायजा देने के लिए क्या-क्या बातचीत हुआ था उसमें?
नहीं, आज मीटिंग उन्हीं के साथ इसी के लिए थी कि क्या डैमेजेस हुए हैं और किस तरह से आप रिस्टोर कर रहे हैं। आपका टारगेट क्या है जो आपने आपको बताया, वही बातें हुई उनसे भी कि हमारा डैमेजेस कितना हुआ है और हम कब रिस्टोर कर रहे हैं, कैसे रिस्टोर कर रहे हैं और हमने क्या मेथोडोलॉजी ले रखी है और वो सारी चीज़ें डिस्कस हुई हैं।
अप्रोक्सीमेटली कितना का लॉस हुआ होगा?
यदि मनी वैल्यू में लें आप तो इसको रेलवेज़ को 350 करोड़ का नुकसान हुआ है, जिसमें रेस्टोरेशन शामिल होता है, हमारी कुछ जो कमर्शियल्स थे, जो अर्निंग्स थी वो इफ़ेक्ट हुई है, इनवर्ड, आउटवर्ड और जो पीआरएस की और यूटीएस की अर्निंग होती है और मैकेनिकल के लोग को और ये और सिग्नल गियर्स है, ट्रैक जितना डैमेजेस हुआ है।
जैसे कि आपने सुना कि हमारे जो एडीआरएम जो साहब जो ने उन्हें विस्तार से बताया कि यहाँ का जो लॉसेस कितना हुआ, कौन सा लोकेशंस में इस तरह सा जो सिंकिंग हुआ है और पर्टिकुलर उनको रिस्टोर करने में कितना वक़्त लग सकता है और कितना उनका मशीनरीज़ लगा हुआ है, उसका जो लेबरर्स जो है, जो काम पे लगा हुआ है, इंजीनियर्स कितना लगा हुआ है, सारे जो डिटेल्स उन्होंने बताया कि ये शायद हम लोग सब भी आशा करते हैं कि डिमा हासो में पहले जैसा ही जो फिर से रेलवे का जो रास्ता जो साफ हो।
It's time for another very short break now. Don't go anywhere. Lots more coming up on At the Other Side. Stay tuned. Northeast Live, the most viewed news channel in the region. On YouTube, unmatched coverage.
Oh, বাহ! ও বাহ! অভূতপূৰ্ব ভেৰাইটি, অপূৰ্ব মূল্য। ডাউনলোড মিছো।
আনন্দৰ উৎসৱ বিহু আহিছে, ঘৰে ঘৰে আহাৰৰ সোৱাদ জাগিছে। Everyday Spices wishes you a happy Bihu.
Everyday Spice.
Evening Prime, the prime time news at 7. Now, in a whole new look. Welcome back, viewers, and on to another big story now. Guwahati is hosting the Blue Sky Education Career Fair from today. The fair is providing opportunities to students of the entire Northeast region to pursue their higher studies for a professional career in diverse sectors. Special counseling is also being provided in the fair to the students. At least 25 foreign universities are a part of this two-day event.
Blue Sky Education, we have come to Guwahati with this Global Education Career Fair 2022 to provide a platform to the students aspiring to study abroad globally. Students can choose to go to any particular university and we help them with all the services provided. Whatever is required, we help them.
I was a student myself in 97 when I went off to Australia. And for all my overseas study counseling, I had to go to Delhi or Kolkata. So this is my way. Like for 25 years, I've lived in Australia, but I always felt the students of this region could, help with the counseling in their own hometown. So this is my and Blue Sky's effort and Mahashada Banerjee's endeavor to bring Blue Sky to the region. And so that students can come and get free counseling services, and we do all of that for free. And students can know of the courses, programs, scholarships, post-study work arrangements, and and have a very satisfying career for the lifetime. Yeah.
How many universities are there?
Well, there is over 25 universities, and a lot of them, some of them are coming today, and some are also tomorrow. But in some of the stalls, say more than one university is being represented. So yes, 25 plus to close to 30, I would say.
As you are looking after this northeastern region, so how many students are interested from northeast?
Well, yes. The thing is, the purpose of bringing this here was personally, I've come in contact with many who have either had to contact someone in Calcutta or, Delhi. And so there's plenty of students, wherever I ask, wherever I speak, the response has been, yes, we need it here. And this is why this is here. This is why we are here.
With Northeast Live also interacted with a representative of the foreign universities. Take a look.
So first of all, I would like to thank Blue Sky for giving us this opportunity. I am based in Hyderabad. I've traveled all the way here to connect with the students at Guwahati and represent my university, the Culinary Institute of America. We have locations in New York City, California, Texas, and Singapore. So we would really like to share the information and give the students an opportunity to explore within the hospitality and culinary world, because this is a very booming industry now. We have quite a good number coming in. We really look forward to connecting more and more students. It's a 2-day fair, so we just started and there are good interested number of students coming in. So I really look forward for the 2-day fair.
First of all, I'm really grateful to Blue Sky Education, which is actually based in Kolkata, and very good to see that they have come to the hills in Guwahati, where Mahashweta actually belongs to. So thanks to Mahashweta and entire team of Blue Sky for organizing this fair.
I think this is a great initiative for students of our region. I also am from this region, so I understand that there's a need for this. A lot of students want to study, not only even out of Delhi or say out of Guwahati, maybe say Delhi, Guwahati, but also abroad. And the kind of information that we have, probably it's not sufficient. This kind of information, the kind of platform that you get here is very, very important, I think. Yeah.
We are trying to explore Northeast as a region to go to Canada and study. I represent the University of Windsor, which is a public institution in Canada, which was established in 1857. So a lot of options to choose from, 9 different faculties and 200 plus programs. So you can be in touch with Blue Sky Education, who are our partners here in the Northeast, and they will help you with the application and visa process. Looking forward to some great interactions today with students.
And now let's listen into what students and their parents had to say.
You are a student, right?
Exactly. I'm currently studying at ISG. Actually, I'm giving my finals. Next month I have 2 more exams next month. So currently I'm searching for which are the best universities where I could apply. So that's why I came to this fair, so that I could look into what the universities could offer to me. So I will check what is the best option which I could see, and then I would apply for that. So that's the main reason why I came here.
How are you liking this?
So far, I'm getting very detailed answers from all the universities which I have done. So I think that it would be very productive for me. So once I reach home, so I would be able to compare which are the options which would be best for me. And then after consulting with my family, I could take a best option then.
আচলতে মোৰ ছোৱালী পঢ়ি আছে নয়ডাত তাই মানে বাহিৰত পঢ়িম বুলি ভাবিছে আইবৰ্ডত মই জাষ্ট চাব আহিছোঁ মানে ক'ত অপৰচুনিটিটো আছে ইটছ এ গ্ৰেট থিং আৰু মানে এনেকুৱা অপৰচুনিটিবোৰ থাকিলে মানে ল'ৰা ছোৱালী আমাৰ আহি থকা ল'ৰা ছোৱালীখিনিৰ কাৰণে এটা মানে ভাল প্লেটফৰ্ম বুলি মই ক'ব পাৰোঁ পেৰেণ্টছ আহিব লাগে এতিয়া মোৰ ছোৱালী আহিব পৰা নাই তাই মানে ফাইনেল ইয়েৰ পৰীক্ষা দি আছে আৰু সেইকাৰণে আহিব পৰা নাই ময়ে আহিছোঁ তাইৰ কাৰণে আৰু পেৰেণ্টছসকল আহিব লাগে তেতিয়া মানে ডিটেইলছটো গম পোৱা যায় কিমানখিনি খৰচা হ'ব আৰু কি সুবিধা আছে অসুবিধা আছে সেফটি সিকিউৰিটি গোটেইখিনি মানে পেৰেণ্টছে জানিলে ভাল
Now to some other news now. Today is Menstrual Hygiene Day. The occasion was observed today at a special program by the Kamrup District Administration in Guwahati. A special program was held at the Guwahati Biotechnology Park at Amingao. Pride East Entertainment Private Limited CMD Riniki Bhuya Sharma and popular Assamese actress Nishita Goswami attended the event. Girl students from several schools also attended the event that talks on the importance of menstrual hygiene for women. Take a look.
আজি ৱৰ্ল্ড মেনষ্ট্ৰুৱেল ডে আৰু আজি কামৰূপ জিলাত আজি এটা খুব সুন্দৰ প্ৰগ্ৰেম এটা আজি অনুষ্ঠিত কৰিছে এইটো খুব দৰকাৰী বুলি মই এইটো কাৰণেই ভাবোঁ কাৰণ আমাৰ যিটো পুৰণি মিথছ এণ্ড টেবুজখিনি আছে যাৰ কাৰণে আমাৰ সৰু সৰু ল'ৰা ছোৱালীবিলাকে বহুত ছাফাৰ কৰি আছে এই বুলিয়ে নহয় কিন্তু ইয়াৰ লগত যিটো আমাৰ পৰম্পৰা চলি আহিছে সেইখিনিতো আমি কণ্টিনিউ কৰি গৈ থাকিব লাগিব কিন্তু তাৰ লগত যিখিনি আমাৰ চাইণ্টিফিক ৰিজনছ সেইখিনি বুজাই দিলে বহুতখিনি যেটা অলাগতিয়াল নিয়ম বা অলাগতিয়াল যিটো কষ্ট এজনী ছোৱালীয়ে পাব লাগে সেইখিনিৰ পৰা মুক্ত পাব বুলি এটা খুব সুন্দৰ আজি প্ৰগ্ৰেম আৰু যিটো তেখেতসকলে কনভাৰচেশ্যন বুলি কৈছে কাৰণ এইটো এদিনীয়া কথা ক'লে যোৱা বস্তু নহয় তো কথাৰ থ্ৰু দি মানুহৰ লাহে লাহে চাইক'লজিকেলি লাহে লাহে মানুহক প্ৰস্তুত কৰা এটা খুব সুন্দৰ অনুষ্ঠিত হৈছে ধন্যবাদ মই আজি কামৰূপ প্ৰশাসনক মই ধন্যবাদ জনাইছোঁ যি পদক্ষেপ হাতত লৈছে DC ডাঙৰীয়াক সেনাবকে ধৰি সকলোকে ধন্যবাদ জনাইছোঁ বৰ সুন্দৰ এক প্ৰচেষ্টা তেওঁলোকে হাতত লৈছে আজি ৱৰ্ল্ড মেনষ্ট্ৰুৰেল আৰু হাইজিন ডে আজিৰ দিনটোৱে নহয় আচলতে প্ৰতিটো দিনে আমাৰ কাৰণে খুব গুৰুত্বপূৰ্ণ দিন ছোৱালীখিনিৰ কাৰণে কাৰণ এই যিটো আমাৰ পিৰিয়ডছ হোৱাৰ যিটো মেনষ্ট্ৰুৰেল চাইকেলটো আমাৰ হয় সেইটো সময়ত আচলতে ছোৱালীজনীৰ শৰীৰটোত আমি সকলোৱে জানো আৰু কৈও আহিছোঁ যে শৰীৰটোত ৰেষ্ট লাগে কিন্তু তাৰ লগতে যিখিনি প্ৰথা আমাৰ চলাই আহিছে এখন ঘৰৰ যিবোৰ নিয়ম সেই নিয়মবিলাকে যদি ছোৱালীজনীক কষ্ট দিয়ে আমনি দিয়ে সেই ছোৱালীজনীৰ শৰীৰটোত যদি ৰেষ্ট নাপায় তেনেহ'লে সেইখিনি ৰুলছ আৰু সেইখিনি ৰেগুলেশ্যন বা সেইখিনি প্ৰথা আঁতৰোৱাটো ভাল সমাজৰ পৰা
Shifting focus now, Nagaland's Andrea Kevichusa was not the only one who made a Bollywood debut in the Ayushmann Khurrana starrer Anek, but another youth from Assam has made it to the film industry by starring alongside the lead actors. We are talking about 17-year-old Parag Medhi, who hails from Morigaon. In fact, Parag can also be seen in the movie poster. Interestingly, Parag had become an internet sensation soon after a video of him working out under a bamboo shed had gone viral on social media. Soon after, he was spotted by the movie director Anurag Sinha's team, and this is how he got his break in the film industry. The movie as such is being seen as a life changer for Parag, who reportedly hails from a financially weak background.
কেনেকৈ পালোঁ বিকাশ দাৰ লগতে পালোঁ আৰু মানে সি কণ্টেক্ট কৰিছিলে বিকাশ বদলক চিনিয়ে পায় চবে পেজৰ পৰাই নাম্বাৰ পাইছিলে সুশাংক দাদাই মাতিছিলে এনেকৈ পালোঁ অনলাইন অডিশ্যন হৈছিলে ভিডিঅ' ভাল পাল চাই তাৰপিছত মাতিলেও গুৱাহাটীলৈ গাড়ী আহিছে নিবলৈ তাৰপিছত আমি গুৱাহাটীলৈ গ'লোঁ তাৰপিছত লৈ গৈছে কাজিৰঙালৈ
Moving on now, Kangana Ranaut starrer action film Dhakad collected a humiliating rupees 4,420 on the 8th day of his theatrical journey and sold only 20 tickets across the country. These figures are as per Bollywood Hungama. The film was a disaster from day one. Overall, Dhakad has made around rupees 3 crore, continuing Kangana's long streak of Bollywood underperformance. Dhakad reportedly cost between rupees 80 crore to rupees 90 crore to make, and according to a separate Bollywood Hungama report, the film is struggling to find streaming distribution as the producers did not crack the deals prior to release. Directed by Rajneesh Ghai, Dhakad also stars Arjun Rampal, Divya Datta, and Saswata Chatterjee. Dhakad received mixed reviews, but moviegoers seem to have given the film a complete pass. Indian Express film critic Shalini Langir gave Dhakad 3.5 stars. She concluded the review by saying, and I quote, "The simple, uncomplicated storyline is that Agni became an agent after a shocking incident from childhood when her parents were shot by a man of whom she has a faint memory of. Now, she is leading the agency's investigation of a trafficking ring running out of central India and reaching up to Budapest that keeps popping up almost like a backyard to Bhopal and a sheikh with origins in the Middle East," unquote. On to some more entertainment news now. Actor Randeep Hooda shares the first look from his upcoming film Swatantra Veer Savarkar on the birth anniversary of freedom fighter Veer Savarkar today. Randeep Hooda will be seen playing the role of Vinayak Damodar Savarkar in the biopic Swatantra Veer Savarkar. The film will soon go on floor. Before they begin filming, the makers shared the first look of Randeep Hooda as the freedom fighter, which marks the 139th birth anniversary of Veer Savarkar. The film will be directed by Mahesh Manjrekar. And with that, we've come to the end of our news bulletin. Stay tuned to Northeast Live for more news and updates. Thank you for watching. Northeast Live, the most viewed news channel in the region. On YouTube, unmatched coverage. Oh.